It is the perfect time to talk about the current temp. I mean, it is broiling outside, and we've got a big 250th anniversary on the way. Perfect time to be air-conditioned, visiting with friends, talking about things, and celebrating the country. And that's what we're doing this week on the current temp. Welcome, my friends. I'm Joey Solopek. I'm here next to Bill Gerner, one of my partners and mentors at EMC. I want to say thank you, first of all, to Lexus of Memphis. Huge shout out to them, as always. We love Lexus, the product, the people. Everything comes together there. You know, I'm a believer that if you're getting great customer service, gravitate toward those places, and this is one of those situations. And a big shout out as well to our company, EMC, Equity Management Company. Now, Bill, I want you to check this out. I did a 4th of July kind of Evel Knievel type logo there to celebrate the 4th. I thought this would be a great time to do a forecast. You think I should do that?
I think you should. Yeah.
Here's the deal, friends. I mean, we've got heat advisories through the weekend for your 4th of July celebrations. Little sneak weather forecast for you here on this week's current temp. And be prepared for pop-up showers and storms. They can just happen at any time. In fact, I think there's some brewing outside right now, and that's going to be the deal for your fireworks for the next few nights. I don't even care what night it is. Be prepared for a downpour, maybe take an umbrella, and be ready to get inside and get some AC. So it is going to be super, super hot. All right. This week, we are talking about something that we get asked about all the time. It's about 401k plans. And should you leave it when you leave a company, or should you move it somewhere new? And we've got some feelings about that, don't we?
We do.
All right. We're going to break this down, and we're going to do it fast. We like these fast-paced financial 401k and financial episodes. All right, let's start with reasons why you should leave it. All right, I'm going to go through a couple of bullet points here, and then we're going to get Bill's thought because he's been doing this for decades. Here's why you might want to leave it in your old 401k if you leave. Now, by the way, quick refresher, when you leave a company and you've had a 401k, that's your money. It can stay there sometimes. Sometimes the company wants you to move it. Sometimes it can stay there forever, but it doesn't disappear. It's yours forever, and you can move it if you want to. But why would you leave it? If the company allows it, well, you might like the investment options you had. Most people don't even really know what they have, but that's something. If you're in love with a mutual fund, you may want to stick with that. Usually there's no taxes if you just leave it and ignore it. They're not going to tax you on it. It's protected from some creditors under federal law. I would say that that's not as big of an issue for most people because most of us aren't getting attacked by creditors, and you may be relatively inexpensive. Any other reasons you could think of why you would want to leave it?
I think most people leave it because they have a loyalty to that company. I don't think they may pay attention to these factors that you put up, but I think they feel like the company's going to take care of them, but I don't think the company realizes who stays and who goes.
Would you agree with this? And I've seen this quite a few times, that most people leave it because they don't know what to do with it.
I think you're exactly right. Some people are scared of finance, and they just leave it the way it was and hope it does well.
And that's why I'm going to lead into the next slide, which is why should you move it or roll it to an IRA? Okay, that's your option. And so if you don't know this slide, you may choose the first one. But let me go through a few things here so you'll know what your options are. By the way, this doesn't cost you a penny. You can, or should be able to, roll it into an IRA for free anywhere and even have it professionally managed if you'd like that. That's one of the things we do at our firm. Or you could manage it yourself if you decided to roll it into an IRA. But here's one of the reasons why you should do it. We talked about why you shouldn't. Your investment options explode. If you're on a company plan, that's going to be pretty limited. Your choices are normally pretty limited, but if you go into an IRA, the whole world opens up. Again, no taxes if it's rolled over properly. You still have some pretty strong protections in there, and you can get personalized management service from advisors like us, people that have done it for decades. Thoughts on this?
You know, at FedEx, I set up the options there, and they were limited at the point in time I did it. It was only like 6 options. So,
that's all, wow.
That's all we had. And we went from low risk to high risk and in between. So I think having the investment options, and I think helping people how to allocate that money. And what I mean by that is, how much should I put in bonds? How much should I put in stocks? How much should I put in commodities? How much should I put in fine art? How much should I put in gold? Should I put in silver? And what most investors end up doing, if they don't have a feel for the market, is when the market's at a high, that's when they'll put money in. And they don't buy at the low, they buy at the high.
At the wrong time.
Exactly the wrong time. And I think what most people realize is that they don't have the expertise. So, and a lot of companies, Joey, go into risk-based and I'll start with target-based. Target-based is where, I'll just give you an example. Like if you're 50 years old, you take 50 from 100, that's 50. They'll put 50% in bonds and 50% in stocks. If you're 40, they'll put 60% in stocks and 40% in bonds.
These are target date funds.
Target date funds.
Right.
So you have a target, which makes no rhyme or reason. Most people are risk-based. And what I mean by that is we get a feel for how much risk they can stand, and it lets us know how much to put in market or put into riskier investments. So I think that's a lot more logical than having a big company with a target date fund. Do you agree?
I do. And let's do this. I want to hit a recap. So we're talking about if you have a 401k that you've walked away from a previous company, and you might have several. That's pretty common. What do you do with it? You can leave it where it is. There's pros and cons. Or you can move it somewhere new and manage it yourself or have someone manage it. And I would tell you that people follow the path of least resistance, which is normally forgetting it. They walk away from it and they think, oh, I'll deal with it some other time. And it languishes. That's the problem here is I think if it doesn't get the attention it needs, you're not getting the performance that maybe you could get.
And you know, a lot of people, they don't stay in one job their whole career. They move around.
Right.
And they have pockets of money with this company, pockets with that company, and they need to consolidate that. And
let me jump in on there because I had this conversation all the time. I think it makes more sense to have all your horses pulling in the same direction instead of having pockets everywhere where it's kind of discombobulated. Get everything consolidated and then get a plan of how you're going to maximize and leverage your money. I think that's the smart way to do it.
Right. And the asset allocation, if you do not have expertise in setting up accounts and knowing how much to put in stocks and bonds and alternative investments, then you're really at a disadvantage. And I don't think employees in general have that expertise.
I agree. All right, let's do a quick recap for you. So why would you leave your 401k alone? You liked the investment options you had. It's pretty inexpensive. You don't need additional financial planning because you know what you're doing. That's great. And you like to manage it yourself. Now, here's the recap on why you may want to roll it, okay, and roll it into an IRA. You get a whole lot more flexibility on what you invest in. The options go from 6 or 12 or 20 to thousands and thousands of you to choose from. You can consolidate multiple accounts. You get professional management if you have an advisor do it and help you with it. Now, here's the deal. You're welcome to do it yourself. Pay attention to it, and we can encourage you on that. If you want a professional help, make sure that it is not too expensive and that they are customizing it to you. Every single person is different. Don't you think that's a critical point?
It is. And the other thing, bonds, we call it fixed income in bonds. It's the same terminology, but bonds hadn't made money in 20 years.
Right.
So people that get stuck with a target date fund in bonds are really at a disadvantage.
Well, I had a new client today, and I spent an hour with this lovely person just trying to educate on the whole process because we think that's a big deal, making sure they understand what we're doing. And I think that's worth it as well. As you get older, your money is very important, how you're going to retire. And we think that wherever you go, whoever that's with, make sure that they are taking you along on that journey and educating you as you go. So another reason to roll it into an IRA, you can get income tax planning, so advice on what to do about taxes, which is pretty critical, and most of us don't have a great understanding of that. And again, you can get all your horses pulling in the same direction. Any last thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do have a couple here. I think control of your money is important. I know last week we talked about annuities. So
what do you mean by that?
What I mean is, if you want to pull a lump sum out, you should not have to pay somebody extra to get your own money back.
Right.
That's certainly crucial. And we all have emergencies, and we need lump sums. So example that people may understand, if you have your money in a CD at a bank, and you say, oh, that's safe and everything, well, all of a sudden, you need a lump sum. They'll give you that lump sum, but you will pay that bank a penalty for taking that money out early.
Early withdrawal.
Early withdrawal. You'll do the same thing on annuity. And in the 401k, you need to take control of your money where you can take that money anytime you want it. Anytime you make an investment, if you do not have liquidity, you do not have an investment, you're speculating. You do not need to speculate with your retirement money. It's very important because, the government companies had defined benefit where they would define how much money you get per month. And then with all the regulations, they went to 401ks. And now you have control of that lump sum, so you need to take care of it and get with someone who can help you.
Listen, folks, I think that was brilliantly said. One of the things we really like to emphasize here is that we want you better educated, no matter where that is, so that you can make better investment decisions. And know this, as you're trying to get everything consolidated and maybe it's kind of confusing, find an advisor or someone who will talk to you, and they should not charge you to walk you through these processes. So know that as well. I talk to a lot of our clients who are wondering, well, how much do I owe you? They shouldn't be paying for just basic advice.
No way. You need to do something to get paid.
Right. That's exactly right. And so we want to make sure you guys know what the playing field looks like. If you've got pockets of money and you're looking for advice, you can reach out to us. We're happy to point you in whatever direction that is. You can get in touch with us from our website, and that's emctn.com. It's got a little place there. You can send us a message, and we will answer those questions for free. I think that's a pretty quick wrap-up. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, did we heat it up today?
We are boiling out there. Listen, from Bill and I, and of course our lovely producer, Lisa Solopak, we want to wish you guys a happy 250th 4th of July anniversary coming up this weekend. By the way, these are tried and true points about 401ks and IRAs. It doesn't matter if you do it on the 4th of July or at Christmas or at Easter. All those same facts are going to hold true. But as Bill said, it's going to be hot and steamy. Be careful out there. Stay cool. And if we can help you, let us know. Have a great week.